Hey there guys, and welcome to another Factorio Friday Facts discussion number 336 offshore pump redesign, and I'm joined by Bombug as always.
Hello, how's it going for you today, X?
Going pretty good. Just streamed a little bit, some chores. Sounded like you have some chores too.
The weekends are. Gotta
Yep.
get everything done. Lots
Oh
of
yeah.
scanning in last year's documents, getting ready for tax season.
Oh, fun. So fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is a pretty short Friday Facts, pretty cool. And there is actually something in here besides offshore pump, which is really cool, but we'll get to that. So first off, as one of the latest entities which do not have high resolution graphics, the time has come for the offshore pump, which is true. This has been the same graphic for like years now, but is practically a one tile entity, but they must have a one tile gap between each other. It is also the only entity placed on a water tile at the moment. When we change the way how terrain water to water transitions work, we move the offshore pump to be placed on the water tile. This can result in the pump drawing over terrain in ugly ways, which is true.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah, it's kind of ugly. So with the redesign, they took the opportunity to move the offshore back onto land, and additionally, the pump checks a 2 to 3 tile area or tile water area in order to be buildable. So this is the new one. It's basically what the normal pump looks like, with a few very small changes, which you may notice, and they talk about here in a little bit down below. But overall, I think it obviously looks much better. It doesn't like have really weird overlap with parts of the train.
Yeah, I've got to say this is a definite glow up. I'm proud of this pump. Taking care of itself. It's looking good now.
Oh yeah, looking real good. So the new placement rules only apply to newly built pumps. Offshore pumps on existing masts will keep functioning; they'll just be shifted out from the shore. So that's good. It won't like break all your nuclear setups and oil setups and steam setups and stuff. Um, there's no blue color for water integration at the tip of the offshore pump, so the offshore pump will look correct even with unexpected water types. Not a big problem in Factorio or in vanilla. Sorry. But some mods do add different colored water. The water integration is split to an underwater layer, which does not show when the pump gets landfilled over, as you can kind of see here. So again, really good. Looks like some nice shadows here I'm noticing too. The originals kind of had that too, but it looks better with the more updated graphics.
Yep, for sure. I'm glad they're considering their sort of depth of view in all of these designs,
Mm-hmm.
making sure it looks good around the water and not.
Yeah. Uh, So in the basic concept, the offshore pump is another type of pump, so it should be similar to other pump entity Albert made a few years ago, including the animation visible fluid in it. The obvious difference is the connection to water. However, we felt that is not different enough and needs more visual balance. We added a pair of supportive legs, which you may have noticed before. These guys here, you can see these supportive legs. It does add like kind of a nice little nuanced thing here. It would need those probably if it were going off the edge, the shore into the water.
Yep, makes sense. Gives it a good place to have some shadows underneath, but still have a little bit of actual infrastructure sort of behind it.
Mm-hmm. Um, and they are planning to release the new offshore pump graphics with the next release, likely next week. So this is really good. I like the fact that they're putting it, releasing these pretty quickly after showing them. One, it seems like a pretty common theme in the feedback on the forums and Reddit, which I also have a pretty similar opinion for, is that um, I feel like it's a little strange and kind of unnecessary to have two different pumps in the game that basically look identical and do almost the same exact thing. Um, because like you have the offshore pump and then you have the normal pump, and aside from having like legs, they look basically identical. And overall do the same thing except one just goes into the water and one's on land. But a lot of people seem to voice opinions that they would like there just to be one pump in the game that just doesn't require power, and then the graphics would just kind of switch depending on if you're going to put it as an offshore pump or a normal pump, kind of like when you put a miner over uranium. You know, it's still a miner,
Yeah.
but it just changes its graphic and its mechanics a little bit.
I agree with that. That's a pretty good idea. Simplifies up, all the little things you need to be building.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that would be a good way. It just seems like kind of unnecessary when like overall they're probably like 90% the same. I don't think there's really a reason to have two of them. But
Yeah, and like they said, this is the only on-water entity in the game so far. Like,
mhm.
they could make it so, how would you say it? Everything's handled in one spot. Never have to worry about it again, I'd hope. Just put it all into one item.
Yep, exactly. So maybe something to consider. So that's that. New pump, cool. Great. Maybe we'll be lucky and they'll just have one pump total and get rid of the other. But next thing is Mod Spotlight built-in beacons by V. And a lot of people probably will have already seen the video and stream I did where I actually toured V's base with him and fellow streamer Rain. Where this mod is used, it's like a 2.7k science per minute spaghetti base. It's crazy. But this mod is really, really cool that he's made. So beacons strongly motivate building in a rectangular, repeatable patterns. The results generally look clean, but also very predictable and boring. Furthermore, the difference between different recipe builds are only minimal, so the visual difference between builds is minimal, which I can totally attest to. I've built multiple mega bases, and the builds themselves look pretty much all the same regardless of what they're making.
Yeah, it's kind of fun to set up initially, right? You gotta do some belt weaving and junk, but once it's set up, it's just squares of mostly beacon.
Yeah, pretty much. Exactly. So the issue is I like to build the opposite of clean and predictable, which is very true for him. The factory looking increasingly complicated and hard to expand over time is what keeps me engaged to continue playing a map. When it starts looking easy, I lose interest. I've been trying to solve this for myself by either restricting myself from using beacons, which is a massive sacrifice of productivity and speed, and also game performance, because you would need more entities if you're not beaconing them. Or by putting the sub-factories with high beacon counts outside the starting area, is keeping the organic starting area is key for me. Kind of a example here, a little tidbit from what his base kind of looks like. Eventually I thought about creating a mod that makes machines behave as if they had the maximum possible amount of beacons around them, allowing me to upgrade starting base, but that also causes higher demand on the throughput of logistics, which is the most interesting part, snaking more belts, fitting in more rails. So the mod defines 3 tiers for every producer to simulate beacons with tier 1, 2, or 3 speed modules in them. These machines cannot be further affected by normal beacons and only accept special productivity modules defined by the mod. So pretty cool here. Some nice icons, nice graphics, which I've seen like actual entities. It's a cool concept. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't. A part of me thinks it's kind of overpowered, but it's really not necessarily, because in some ways it makes it actually a greater challenge because, as he said, there's like higher demand on throughput of logistics sometimes. And then also being in his base, these, like, you can be it's really deceiving how much power you can end up using, because like these machines, you know, you're not putting beacons down, but these higher level machines will be using like 10 megawatts a piece, you know.
Wow.
And it's just like, it can get really crazy, and they're expensive too, obviously. Like, so it takes in to account the power that would be there as if you use beacons and the cost of making the whole thing if you made it with beacons. So it's not like you're just getting like free stuff, basically.
Yeah.
But what's your thought on this?
It's real cool to me. Definitely one of those times where in Factorio you're like, oh man, I feel a little different playing this game than the base game lets me like go. All right, I want to do something a little different, and so you just mod it, and that's really cool for them to be able to do that. I do like the idea of just kind of adding an extra progress tier. than there was before. I get why. How do you say it? I get why maybe not everybody would like it, but having that as an option from a mod is real cool in my opinion. And I like the look of the spaghetti base a lot more than the grid above. You know.
Yep, same here.
Yeah, I like some spaghetti every now and then. After a long day at work, you go home, you load up the factory, you get dinner and a show at once. You know.
Yeah, exactly. It's perfect combo. So good. Spaghetti's so good.
Yeah.
Um,
And wow, he does a good job of spaghetti. Like I can't make myself make spaghetti like that.
Me neither.
It's a challenge, isn't it?
yeah, like I can't do this even if I force myself, and he just does it naturally. It's crazy.
Yeah, and with that in mind, again, going back to the throughput, handling throughput is a lot of Factorio, right? It's like,
Yeah.
oh, why is this line moving slow? Oh, what's going on here? Where did just by adding this piece in, I've suddenly disrupted my entire factory, and so this does give it like another layer to that throughput issue that you have to handle because you don't see this obvious huge beacon farmed factory and know exactly how much material it needs. You gotta be a little more calculative with it, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. It definitely does introduce some new challenges. Mostly with throughput and power and stuff. So creating the mod was a ton of fun. I rewrote it about 3 times as I was learning how to do it better. I hacked together some basic graphics for it from special passes, height and ambient occlusion that we use for post-production in our GFX workflow. I played with the mod and got some interesting results in Imager Album as I was able to continue building in the starting area instead of refactoring it for beacons. I'm not going to look at this Imager Album because there's some really good picture examples here, a little time lapse, plus I did an entire like hour-long video tour of it. But he did write a time-lapse screenshot tool. It can either be used by taking a screenshot each in ticks automatically, or in my case, I give it a folder with save games and it takes X number of screenshots then moves to the next save game. It's quite crude, so I won't release it on the mod portal for now. But this is a very short 45-second time-lapse, which I will watch because it's very cool.
I love that he's got the Factorio logo right in there too.
Yeah, it's really nice. It's just amazing seeing this expand out.
Oh yeah. It's also so cool that he wrote a tool to get these screenshots. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's awesome that they're able to just write tools like this. And there we go. This is insane. So making beacons disappear into producer machines to allow for more organic bases fits my preferred playstyle, but beacons actually do bring a lot of interesting motivation to the base game, and it can be a lot of fun to mess with the building rules of beacons for. So, you know, he's not saying, you know, boo down with beacons. It's just kind of provides a different challenge one way or the other, and it kind of just depends what you're into. But the mod, if you are interested in this mod, he did make it available publicly on the mod portal. I think it's really cool. I think it can really make for some interesting mega base potential. His is a mega base. It's spaghetti, but it does do over 2,000 science a minute. Definitely a mega base. Yeah, really, really cool. If you want to see like a really in-depth stuff, you can look at the Imager Album, check out my tour video, and hear his thoughts and stuff in the video. But overall, really, really cool.
Yeah, really goes to show the creativity of the Factorio community. Once again, like every Friday Facts that we take a look with the community spotlights, this is people just creating their own content, going above and beyond. They're like, you know, I've done mega bases. I want to do a condensed mega base. Let's do that.
Yeah, and I think lastly, one thing that's just really cool is that it's just like one of the Factorio devs. Like the fact that one of the devs plays this much of their own game.
Oh yeah,
it's like really cool. Like there's a lot of and I'm not saying all, I know for a fact that not all the Factorio devs do this, but like, you know, there's other dev teams where like none of the devs play their game at all, and which is understandable. But it's just cool to, you know, to see and to know that, you know, he plays Factorio quite a bit. I think there's like 140 hours on this base, and this is not his first or only base. So it's just really cool.
Ah, man, I don't know. I don't think you're gonna do that well if you get addicted to your own product. That's a rule you're just not supposed to break. You know?
Yeah, yeah, kind of in trouble there. I'm surprised he can get any work done on it. But yeah, I think that's gonna do it. Unless you have anything else to add.
Just gotta go take a look at your stream. You have your VOD up on your channel. Do you have it on your YouTube as well?
Yep, up on YouTube.
Excellent. I only got a couple minutes of it, so I want to see some more of that spaghetti.
Yeah, it's crazy. Well, cool. I think that's going to do it, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Leave your thoughts below, as always, and on the forum and Reddit for the devs. And until next time, we will see you later.
Catch you later.